Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Attracting Ideal Loyal Clients with Your Online Marketing Machine. My name is R. John Robbins. I am going to be your host. I'm going to be interviewing Ridgely Goldsboro for this program. This is a really great program. For those of you who don't know me, let me just take a moment to introduce myself briefly so you understand my connection, because we have sort of a unique relationship between my business, howtomanageasmalllawfirm.com, and 4D Legal. I spoke about it briefly in one of the emails leading up to today's webinar, but for those of you who may not have seen it, let me just give you the brief overview. I am an attorney. I'm the founder of howtomanageasmalllawfirm.com. We have about 100 members all around the country in our various coaching programs, and we work with lawyers who are thinking about starting a law firm, lawyers who already have very successful law firms, and we do a lot of very interesting and exciting programs for our members. And so part of my job is to always be on the lookout for new and exciting resources to help our members. And last year, a friend of mine was at Dan Kennedy's Super Conference. Some of you may know who Dan Kennedy is. For those of you who don't, it's not important for the story. And anyway, she was at that super conference, and she called me and said, there's a guy you have to meet. He's a lawyer, and he has this really neat thing that he does with dentists and chiropractors, but I think you should try to convince him to do something for your members. So Ridgely and I got started talking over the phone, and that led to me convincing Ridgely and his wife Kathy to come down to one of our live quarterly meetings. And I knew that if I could convince him to come to one of our live quarterly meetings and he could experience what it's like to be around the kind of lawyers who join our coaching programs, which is to say highly entrepreneurial, highly motivated, ambitious solo lawyers and lawyers who are not afraid to make a decision and like to have successful law firms. I knew if I could get him to the group, he would want to give it a try with lawyers, because up to that point, maybe because Ridgely is a lawyer, I don't know, but for whatever reason, maybe we can ask him on the call today, he was not too keen on working with lawyers. They have a very nice business working with dentists and chiropractors and other people in the medical industry. But after that meeting, he said, okay, I get it, you got something special here, you got a unique kind of lawyer who comes to this group, let's give it a try. And we decided on doing a pilot program. And we had a webinar a few months ago where we did introduced a pilot program. I will throw myself on the sword and say I vastly underestimated the amount of interest in that webinar, and accordingly I didn't put the right systems and procedures in place to handle the volume of inquiries. And to make a long story short, it turned into somewhat of a mess, somewhat of a horse race to see who was going to snap up those 16 spots in the pilot program. And then what we ended up doing, just to be fair, and because we always like to do nice bonuses for our members, we said if you're a member of the coaching program, you can come to the pilot program weekend and observe for free, just as a bonus for being one of our members. You can observe the 12 pilot program participants actually go through all the exercises. And there was so much demand from that we decided that we had to sort of make it up to our members for my organizational mishap and have an encore presentation and an encore pilot program. I can tell you that looking at my schedule this year, this is the last pilot program that we're going to do. I just don't have any more time in my schedule to do all the bonuses and extras that we're going to talk about today that you're going to get if you participate as a pilot program participant. And of course, if you're a member of the coaching program, like always, you get to come for free just to hang out and be part of the whole thing, and you'll learn a lot. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce my new friend, and Ridgely and I have become good friends. Ridgely Goldsboro. Ridgely is an attorney. He is somewhat of a online strategist genius, and his cohort, Dr. Gary Sanchez, I got to tell you, he did something for me that, no joke, I would literally have paid $100,000 to have the experience that he did for me. It opened up so much opportunity for me. It's already helped me make a lot more money. It's already helped me really have a lot more fun in my business, and you know I like to have a lot of fun to begin with. And I've seen what he's done with this why understanding and this why analysis with dozens of our members, and it's just nothing short of remarkable. The websites that they have built for our pilot program participants, all but one of them are having phenomenal results already. I'm getting a lot of great feedback. Everyone says not only are they making more money and getting great clients, which is nice for me because then it creates a need for more of my services to help build law firms that can handle all the extra business, which is which is what I like to do. But a lot of great feedback just in terms of what it's like to work with the 4D legal team. And I say all but one. You know what? It was a pilot program. It was presented as a pilot program, and we made a few mistakes with one of the pilot program participants, but we're making it right. And I believe that he will be very happy when it's all said and done. So that's in the interest of full disclosure. Ridgely, are you with us?
I am happy to be here with you, Arjan, and ready to roll to share some information that is pretty exciting about what's happened so far and where we think we're going.
Yeah, this program, everyone, is basically a show you the numbers, show you sort of behind the curtain, show you the mechanics of exactly what they did, how they did it, how it's working. Even if you decide not to participate in the pilot program, I expect that you're going to want to take a lot of notes, write down a lot of things, and even if you don't end up being able to participate in the pilot program, I fully expect you should learn some concrete, actionable things today on this call that you can use to make your website perform significantly better. And by perform better, what we mean is more of the right kind of clients, not just more eyeballs. Because having a million people come to your site who are the wrong clients doesn't really do you any good. Before we get started into the presentation, in the interest of time, because we've got a few pilot program participants who are with us, and I asked them to just share a few words about their experience with the 4D legal team and more specifically the results they're getting. In the interest of time, I just want to ask them to go first. And if you're thinking, wow, this is interesting to start off a webinar with a couple of solicited testimonials, well, in the interest of full disclosure, you have to know that this stuff works because some of the things you're going to be hearing about today on this webinar may seem a little fantastical to you and a little far-fetched. So I thought it was important for you to hear from not just me, but also some other people who have done it. So I think we've got Heather and John. Is John with us and Heather with us? Heather, do you want to go first?
Ladies first. Why not?
Can you hear me?
We can.
If you can get a little closer to the microphone, it'd be better.
Right, is that better?
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
I'm on my phone. So
oh, that's better. That's better.
Okay. All right.
So Heather, just if you would just introduce yourself and let everyone know that you're a real lawyer and a real person and a real supermom and what your experience was before and after the whole 4D legal makeover of your website.
All right. Well, I was, this came up. I was excited about it. I had heard Ridgely speak at a meeting, and then, so I was interested, and then they put the pilot program out. I'll tell you, I was a little nervous because I've been burned before with spending money on the internet, but I trust Arjan, and I felt like if he said it was good, and I really liked Ridgely, I thought that it was definitely worth doing. So, and I wasn't that busy. This was in January, and I'm still really building on the site. So it was a big commitment for me to take that. I'm in Jacksonville. I have a family law practice, but I felt like I had to do it, and so I did it. We shot the videos. They made it very easy for me. I am busy. I'm busier now with the law firm, but I've got 3 kids, so I'm just busy all around, and I really wanted somebody to do it for me. make it as easy for me to make this happen. I will say that the staff was wonderful. They wrote everything for me, which to me was what I wanted. I proofed it, make sure it worked with what I wanted to do, and after I answered questions, so that they got what I felt like was me represented. When we shot the video, it was pretty painless. It's and so far, so anyway, the whole process of getting it done, I felt was done very well. Then once the video got up, and I guess it took about 30 days or so, I immediately started noticing more connection with the office through the internet. And it's been remarkable. The phone's just been ringing. I've had a lot of more interest, new clients coming in the door just from the internet, and as well as, maybe who people got my name from somewhere else, but then it gives me so much more credibility to have a nice website, have the videos. It's a very competitive market, I feel, in Jacksonville, but and I was really ranking nowhere. I don't think, well, maybe a little bit, but so it's going up, and I'm excited, to watch the numbers go up every month. So it's been a very positive experience for me.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. And we've got 2 more people who have agreed to just share their stories. And again, for those of you who have not had experience working with me, you got to know this is real. Brooke, are you with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Okay, great.
Please just tell everyone a little bit about your background, so they know you're a real person. Now, Brooke is actually not a lawyer. Brooke runs her family's law firm. She is a professional legal administrator who runs a very, very successful small law firm in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay, well, the thing that has been most amazing for us, and our videos are not fully functional yet. We've shot our initial video, but all of our drip campaign's not up yet, so we're not seeing quite the results that Heather is because we're a little bit behind her in the process. But what was really incredible to us, 40 Legal sent us a questionnaire, and it started asking us about clients. And one of the things it asked was, describe your typical client. So we described our client. My father, brother, and I sat there. We worked on that. And then it said, what are the 3 questions that you get asked the most? Well, we get asked, how much is it going to cost, how long is it going to take, and what are my chances? And we get asked this so much that we could even put it in our marketing materials. My father called it the 3-legged stool. And he would talk to new clients about this because they were the questions that we were always asked. And then the next question was a little different on the questionnaire. It said, tell us about your best clients and what are the questions that your best clients ask. And we realized that our best clients, the ones that we really have had a relationship with, that really are our ideal, never ever ask about money. Rarely ask how long it'll take. Their questions are, what do you need from me, when can we start, and how can I help? Those are completely different. And what it told us is that we were marketing to the wrong client. Well, gosh, hello, that's pretty basic. We were looking at the wrong demographic. And so we tried to flesh out a little bit about our ideal client, and I had a firm retreat, and we're bigger than most of the firms in the program. There are 8 of us. And so we all went, and we spent 6 hours, and we did everybody's why, and we had a whole, segment on our ideal client. And everyone on the staff got into it, and what our ideal client is, and how they act, and what they do. And we also fleshed out what we consider to be a bad client. And in that conversation, we realized that we had a couple of clients that we needed to fire. And we have written their names on a piece, on those giant sticky pads that are like 3 feet by 4 feet. There's a sticky pad page in our kitchen listing clients that need to be fired because we don't want to do business with them. And it was great to be able to identify our core client, but what really maybe was even better was getting my staff involved and letting them know that they were part of the process and they had a voice and they were really important. And the morale in the office has really improved since we did that. We did that, Arjan, what, a week ago? A week ago Tuesday. So it's been 9 days.
Yeah.
And it really has made a difference to us. It's, you know, and obviously I took the three-legged stool out of our marketing materials.
That's brilliant.
Because that was just wrong.
Well, that's brilliant. You know, and we'll get into that some more today. That a lot of law firms, and everyone, you'll hear more about this later today. That, and this is maybe something everyone should write down right this second. Is, you know, this is a writer downer. A lot of law firm marketing, you're marketing and you're bringing in the wrong kind of clients, and that's no way to go through life. So thank you, Brooke. I appreciate your feedback and your sharing that.
My pleasure.
And last, and certainly not least, is John Barrett. John, are you with us?
I'm with you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, John is a lawyer in Atlanta, Georgia. And John, you want to just tell everyone a little bit about your practice?
Sure, I'll be happy to. We're actually located in the northwestern suburbs of Atlanta in a city called Marietta. It's county seat of Cobb County, which is one of the major metropolitan Atlanta counties. I do primarily domestic relations law. I also do some probate work and some juvenile court work, but it's almost always associated with some type of a custody or domestic issue. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I've been practicing since 1994, so I've been at it a while. Been operating really aggressively as a sole practitioner for the last couple of years. I'm actually in a four-person firm, but we really have, you know, we're kind of vertical silos. We all operate independently and operate our own marketing and overhead and things like that.
And John is also the inspiration for the upcoming Policies and Procedures workshop. So he's very attuned to ways to improve his law firm. John, if you would just share with everyone a little bit about your experience working with 4D Legal. What was your website performing before? How's your website performing now?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Well, one of the things I want to point out about the 4D Legal experience that I've had is that these guys are so easy to do business with. I mean, really, realistically, the most difficult thing that I've had to do is to proofread and edit some scripts about the domestic relations law, and for the videos that are on the website now. And the other thing that was even remotely difficult was having to read one of the scripts into a teleprompter to create my video. So from that perspective, these guys are very easy to do business with. They make the experience painless, and they do quality work. I mean, I'd love for Arjan, if it's okay, you can give out my email address, or I'll give it to them. They can go look at my website and see. I love it. It's fully functional with the drip campaign. All the videos are out there. To give you a little bit of an idea about how it's performing now versus before the 4D work went into my website, just went back. I actually have a Google Voice number that I use to track my calls coming in from the website. So I can go back and I can look and see, I can count the calls, I can see the phone numbers that come in, so I have a pretty good idea about the amount of traffic that I've been getting. And I just checked it, and in the first, since May 1st of this month, I've received 27 pre-qualified lead calls coming in through the website. Now, just to give you a little perspective on that, I went back and I checked from March 1st to March 17th, before the campaign was in place, and I got 11 non-qualified calls from the same website.
So you went from, and I want to just make sure everyone is real clear, because there's a certain impact you got to really appreciate. You went from 11 non-qualified calls, which a non-qualified call isn't a neutral. A non-qualified call is a negative.
Can be, yes.
From 11 negative to 27 positives, which is like a 38-point improvement.
The fact that they're qualified calls makes it even more valuable.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You went from 11 non-qualified calls, which you got to count a non-qualified call as a negative, to 27 positives. So it's a 37-point change from where you were to where you are. what's your average case worth?
It'll, depending on the type of case, it'll range from about $3,000 to up to $10,000 per case.
So this is potentially $90,000 to $100,000 worth of business that you had come in the door or on way to getting in the door as a result of this. Is that a fair statement?
That is a very accurate statement. Yes.
And then if I do have to, even if I have to pat myself on the back here, and we know you know how to convert them because you're in the coaching program.
Well, I try. I've been well coached in it anyway.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I didn't know your numbers were that good. I knew they were good, but that's amazing.
Well, you know, they don't lie, and you know.
Yeah. Numbers don't lie. All right, so listen, I want to just take one more second to just explain, and in interest of full disclosure, explain the exact relationship between 4D Legal and how to manage a small law firm. We are what you would call in the dating stage. We're not engaged and we're not married. 4D Legal is a separate business from howtomanageasmalllawfirm.com. I believe in what they're doing. I'm thrilled to death when they help our members to help them build their practices, so I'm doing everything I can to get them into the legal arena. I do get a small referral fee for my efforts here, but that does not affect your investment, not one penny. And actually, that is all stuff that I actually reinvest every penny of my referral fee back into 4D Legal services that they're doing to help me improve my website also. So I just want to be completely transparent here. Ridgely?
Yes, sir.
You ready to get started?
I think we are ready to get started. Let's roll. We got a lot of information to cover, and I know there's a lot of busy lawyers on the line. It's a pleasure to be on with you. My dad's a lawyer as well as myself, so all in the family kind of a thing. And what I'd love to do is just set an intention really quickly here among our colleagues. The number one intention here is that everybody walks away from the time that they're spending this afternoon with a tremendous amount of value about how to use the internet as a marketing machine. So no matter what, whether you choose to continue and participate with us in our program, if you can get in, regardless of that, my number one intention is a lot of value for everybody on the phone. I'd love to also, Arjan, with your blessing, keep it very conversational. This is an educational conversation. Show some slides, have a little bit of fun, show some of the results that John and Brooke and Heather were talking about, show some videos, basically some examples about what is possible in what we believe is an absolutely cutting-edge marketing methodology that is only being done at the moment with the people that are your members. In other words, this methodology does not exist in the legal community at all, although it is being very successfully received in other business verticals, such as the ones that you mentioned, medical, dental, chiropractic, and others that we came into ahead of time. And since you asked the question, I may as well just take the question. The reason we initially shied away prior to to us getting together, Arjan, and you're asking us to go with lawyers, despite myself being a lawyer, is because of the complexity in the marketplace. When you're dealing with dentists, there's just about 3 types of dentists. There's cosmetic, there's implant, and there's sedation. That's about it. And they all do about the same thing. But you get into the legal vertical, then you have 25 different kinds of practice in 50 different states, all with different laws that we would have to wrap our arms around, and it was a massive investment on our end, which we now are very happy that we made. But that was my initial hesitation. It had nothing to do with my lack of appreciation for our profession or our colleagues. It was just simply a logistical and complexity issue that fortunately nobody on this call needs to deal with because we already dealt with it. So with that as sort of a prelude, are we ready to jump in?
Let's go.
Okay, so one thing we all can relate to, everybody, is what happens to your day when you have a bad client. And it just is one of those, we really don't like bad client days. Because everybody has those, everybody can right now at this very second picture in your mind that client, that one person that you look at your schedule and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that person's on my schedule. I really, really don't even want to see that person on the schedule. Oh, sorry, we're out of presentation mode. And it instantly takes you down south. You know which kind of person I'm talking about, Arjan?
Yeah, I basically invested a tremendous amount of my time and energy to avoid those kinds of people. And it makes, happy lawyers make more money.
That's right. You end up with this kind of look. And we can all picture that. And here's what's funny. What we know about clients is, and especially if they end up causing us to look kind of like this guy right here, if there were a way to attract only great clients, what kind of a practice would you have? At our company, we believe and we picture a world in which successful practices attract ideal, loyal clients. Now here's what's interesting. We know a lot about psychology. We know a lot about how the brain works. We know a lot about how to use the internet as a magnet for great clients. And frankly, it's not that complicated, because birds of a feather flock together, as the analogy goes. We are all warm-blooded mammals, and we all like people who are a lot like us. And when we say a lot like us, what we mean by that is who share our belief system. If you look at your closest friends, you're going to find that they share your core values, your belief system. This is fundamental stuff. And I'm going to give a couple of funny analogies to drive the point home. At the end of the day, weirdos like weirdos, and frankly, they think we are the weird ones. And it's like that all over the world. You gravitate towards a group of people who share your beliefs, who you feel comfortable with, and if you could attract only those into your law practice, you would have a fantastic practice of loyal clients who pay their bills on time, who respect what you do, who appreciate your efforts, and who refer other people to them. And the whole idea is to engineer that so we end up feeling kind of like this guy with the cigar. And by the way, it's highly lucrative.
Ridgely, I think it's important to, first of all, just tell the people who haven't had experience in my coaching program before, to just reassure them that this is a reality. This is not a theory. Lawyers in our program, for the most part, only have clients who they like. And when you learn how to do this the right way, the marketing and the management of how to run a law firm that only serves the right kind of clients, you kind of wake up one day and say, gee, imagine how different life would have, I can't imagine how it used to be. But I want to make sure everyone understands, this is not theory. There's 100 lawyers in our coaching program who can tell you this is their life.
That's right. And anybody can relate to this based on having had that experience of the bad client. I mean, to me, the bad client is what anchors this down more than anything. That person that sucks your energy. You just want to do what Brooke is now doing at her firm, which is to fire them, get that negative energy out so that you can focus on doing what you love to do, which is practice law with people who appreciate you and say, wow, thank you so much. We're so glad we found you. We're happy to refer you to our friends. We love what you do for us. And there's no squabbling about the bill. Your collectibles are very low. I mean, it just makes life so much better. And then the question becomes, well, how can you engineer the experience? And that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how to use the internet to do what John and Brooke and others in the program and Heather have already done, which is to attract these people into a practice and then convert them into advocates that go out there and say, this guy, Arjan, is a great lawyer. Ridgely is a great lawyer. Brooke manages a great firm, etc. You should go with them. Now, here's where this gets a little bit interesting, and
I just want to interject one more point and say, what you're teaching just on this call already, just to think this way, took me almost 5 years to learn the hard way. Now, I finally learned it and built my whole business around it and built my whole life around it, which is why I say happy lawyers make more money. But, geez, I mean, if I had learned this from a webinar 5 years sooner, I'd be so much even farther ahead of where I am right now. So I want everyone to really understand that what we just shared is so critical. It's not about just SEO and pay-per-click and, what color font and mechanical stuff. If you get this mindset, it's critical. I wish someone had shared this with me 5 years ago.
It makes everything. It makes your life entirely different. It's the difference between enjoying what you do with the majority of your life, your work time, versus not. And it can be clearly engineered, and that's the whole issue. What's really the whole point, what's very interesting is what we're about to share, and I appreciate you prefacing it ahead of time. Arjan was saying some of it's going to sound a little ethereal, is 100% grounded in biology. Now notice that I didn't say psychology or marketing or mental triggers or what did you learn at the one marketing course that you took on a weekend that didn't really do much for you. No, I'm talking about biology. And we're now going to do something a little out there, but I encourage everybody to take a lot of notes because this will flat out is a game changer. It will change the way you look at marketing and the way you look at your practice from this point forward. Here is your brain. Now what's interesting is that the brain, if we go all the way back to the days of the caveman, there was one brain operating, the limbic brain, which is in the center part. Only in the last couple of million years did the Homo sapiens part emerge, and that's called the neocortex. The neocortex is the outer part of the brain. What's really interesting is that the limbic part of the brain, the original caveman brain, is the one that makes all of the decisions, monitors and controls your emotions and your feelings. And this is super important to understand. Limbic brain equals decision making. The neocortex, the outer part of the brain, is the part that processes information, data, language, benefits, and so on. So what that means is that when you do marketing that talks about what you do, you are speaking to the neocortex. And almost all legal marketing out there, in fact, all legal marketing that I'm aware of, with the exception of you, Arjan, and our clients, do that. Hi, my name is so-and-so, and we practice family law. We do divorces, child custody, parents' rights, etc. We have over 30 years of experience, have handled 3,000 cases, are in a great, comfortable location, have convenient hours and a great staff. Come by and see us. That's what almost all of them say.
Such and such law school and blah, blah, blah credentials that no one cares about.
That's exactly right. And the reason we do this is also intelligent. I mean, it makes total sense why people do that is because since language is managed by the neocortex, we want to talk to where the language is. The fundamental problem, and this is the most important point about marketing that's going to come out of our little time that we spend together today, is that does not talk to the part of the brain that makes the decisions. The one that says, oh, I want to go with this attorney. I made the decision to go with that person. Why? It felt right. Everybody's had that experience of, you know what, I see all that data and information, but for some reason, this just doesn't feel right to me. I just can't go with it. That is where your limbic brain that controls the decision making is saying, regardless of all that data and information, I don't care. I'm not doing that. It doesn't feel right. Conversely, if the marketing were geared toward the limbic brain that controls the decision making and we were really tapping into that emotions and feelings, then we're onto something completely cutting edge, which is exactly what we're going to talk about as we move forward. So just park that aside for a second, because what I really want to do is talk a little bit about the why. Now, the why is the reason we do what we do. The why comes from the limbic brain. The why is the way you are wired, the way you are programmed. It is the driver behind the decision-making process and has existed as a survival mechanism from very early on in life when we were growing up. Once you know your why you exist, and why we should care, at that point what ends up happening is things begin to make a lot more sense. So again, going back to neocortex versus the limbic brain, the neocortex is what, how, information. The limbic brain is why. And from a decision-making perspective, this is super critical. People do not buy what you do. They buy why you do it. They buy why you exist and why do we care. What are your core values? What do you stand for? What is your belief system? Is it in line with mine? Here's a line that I really like, Arjan, that I think brings it home. I like you, in actuality, stands for I am a lot like you. And back to, again, we all, people hang out with like-minded people. We don't like hanging out with people that are not like us, that share different kind of belief systems. We don't feel comfortable with them. And therefore, when somebody is on the internet searching for an attorney, and there are so many options, unless you find a way to stand out, to rise above all of that noise, you just get lost in the commotion of what is the cheapest way to get this done. I just have to get it done. As opposed to, what if you spoke to someone's belief system and they said, you know what, I don't know what it is about that John Barrett, but he just gets me, and that's why I'm going with him. I'm not sure what it is about Heather Quick, but I relate to her. I'm going with her. And that is exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about a person's why and the way that they express the why. So just for fun, to break this up a little bit, I thought I'd play a couple of testimonials from some of the attorneys that we were able to help first identify what their why was and what that meant for them. So take a look.
Knowing your why is very helpful. I have to tell you, after I learned my why yesterday, I had to process it for a little while, but I woke up this morning and a lot of things that have happened during my life just made sense. My why happens to be making things better, and everything completely made sense. Because when I sit down and talk to someone, I'm a business lawyer, I love getting into their business. I love trying to figure out what they're doing, and immediately the wheels in my head start turning about. I'll listen to a couple, I'll listen to them for a few minutes, and then I'll start to pick apart things from one side of the conversation to the other side of the conversation and start putting them together in a different way just because. And it's always just happened like that. I never knew why. And now I understand that the reason is because that's how I'm wired. But I wouldn't have known that had I not spoken with Dr. Gary and figured out my why. So it's absolutely a phenomenal exercise to go through.
Learning the why for me and my personal knowledge of myself and how I will interact with myself and my staff is incredibly valuable. But it's also valuable because I do needs-based negotiations. If I'm looking for the win-win in a divorce, I understand what my client's compelled to do because of how they're wired. I'm understanding how I'm compelled to help them. I'm a nurturer, I have learned from Ridgely, and so following in my nurturing nature, making sure that I can help a client understand what she or he needs. A lot of my clients have been married for a long time going through a divorce. They understand what compels their husband or wife. I can help families figure out what they're compelled to do to get through the divorce and to get through the rest of their lives. So the understanding of what drives a person, what drives me, is a basic concept to being able to do my job very well and being able to help people get through the divorces that I'm processing them through on a daily basis. So it's an incredible tool for the toolkit.
I can't think of any better use of my time, and I wish I'd learned this years ago. No regrets about coming here and learning this stuff, and it's I'm just very, very grateful to have known this, and I've grown as a person. I just feel wonderful about it, so I can't recommend it enough.
So where to me the rubber meets the road, Arjan, is right here. There are 30 million plus searches every single month for lawyer-related terms, and that means two things. There's a tremendous amount of traffic out there, number one. And number two, unless you as an attorney find a way to stand out from the rest of the crowd, you just get lost. There's no way to do it. 30 million plus. So that means that everybody on this call has a massive opportunity to position themselves in your marketplace if you can differentiate and if you can do the two things that online marketing is all about. Number one, how do people find you online? And then number two, what happens when they do, which in essence stands for how do you differentiate yourself immediately, relate with that person, have them get what you stand for, what you're all about, and make them decide to choose you over the other hundreds of thousands of lawyers that are out there that they could choose from. And we're going to deep dive into this fairly quickly. I know everyone's time is valuable, so we're going to kind of accelerate the process by quite a bit. Okay, we do a process called 4D, Effective Online Marketing in 4D. D1, define. D2, define who you are, what you stand for. D2, drive the traffic to your website. D3, deliver the prospect into your database. And D4, drip on them or follow up with them until they are able to make a decision. What does that look like? Well, the first thing is to define your practice. You have to know your why. You have to know why you exist and why we should care. More importantly, you also need to know how do you express that correctly. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. How do you tell people what you stand for? Because even if you know what you believe, if it's not being conveyed to the marketplace and the marketplace doesn't know what you stand for, how can they select you? They can't. They don't know that. They're not going to organically know it. You have to express it to them as part of your marketing messaging. We have to go from this. What most people do is they start out down here at what you do. Hi, I do divorces, this, and we have the great staff and we have all the credentials. What we do is we flip the order. We say, here's what we believe, and this is how we express what we believe and how we are unique, and here is what we do. We flip the order around so that when someone believes what you believe, they get you right away. They go, oh yeah, that, you know what, that's exactly right. The way he or she just said that lets me know that they're my kind of people. And I want to bring my business to my kind of people because those are the ones that make me feel comfortable, particularly with a decision as important as a legal issue. So, Ridgely, let's talk about the difference.
Ridgely,
and before we get
to that, can you just go back to the last slide for a second? Because sure. I want everyone to understand that this is so much more than just a website. I want everyone to recognize that really what we're teaching you here is an entire mindset strategy, because all the things that you're going to learn that go into making these websites work, they're also going to work when you're networking. They're also going to work when you're writing articles. They're also going to work when you're writing when you're doing speeches. This strategy is going to change your entire approach to the way you market your law firm for the better. And by for the better, I don't mean just in terms of the money you're going to make, but I mean it's going to be easier for you. It's going to feel more comfortable for you. It's going to feel like it fits the right way. Can you mind if I just put you on the spot just to give everyone an example? My why is clarity. I'm obsessed with making things clear. Would you mind just doing a why, like the why, how, what? Like if it was me, just to give everyone an example of how that sounds?
Yeah, sure. But let's make it kind of quick because I know we're running a little short on time. So, Arjan, do me a favor and tell me an incident that happened to you in the last couple of weeks that made you feel successful.
Well, let's not do the exercise. What I mean is just so they can hear what it would sound like. On my website, I would say...
you would say something along the lines of this. Hi, I am Arjan Robbins, and I believe in creating clarity. How I express that in my work is we want to make sure that you are crystal clear about the way that you run your law office, that your procedures that are in place are understood by everyone and every person that works with you, that all of the details of how whatever it is that your practice is all about can be articulated by any person that's a part of the practice, so that you can derive the result that you absolutely want in clear metrics, measurable and accountable. If this sounds like a result that you're looking for, give us a call. Nothing about credentials, nothing about where you went to school, nothing about your licenses, none of that, all about what you believe.
And then I might say, and what we do to make that happen is we have a coaching program and blah, 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 blah. But the point is, you see,
exactly right.
What I want everyone to understand is that no one cares that I have a coaching program until after they hear that first part that you just described.
That's right. That's exactly right. And especially if they're the person that's confused, they're in the weeds, they're not really clear on what's going on in their firm, and they're looking for clarity, the minute they hear that, they're like, that's it, Arjan's my guy. I got to have that guy. And that's the experience that we want to engineer for everybody that's on this call.
Okay, let's move on.
So here, at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're expressing a belief system. At our company, we believe that there's a better way of doing things, and that we want to share those better ways. So we're never, ever satisfied, although we're often pleased. I mean, I'm super pleased with John Barrett's results, with Heather results, with what's happening with Brooke. I love that, and all our other clients, but I'm never going to be satisfied. You're going to see an example in just a minute of how fast we react when we find a better way. So another expression might be this one. Really quickly, we're just going to show a quick example let me just get down to this. Here we go. Of a website that is dominating a marketplace just because they express their why. This is Kim Ju. They're a photography studio in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They are by no means the least expensive. In fact, they're among the most expensive. And where everybody else says, we do portraits, we do student shots, we do weddings, we do proms, we do whatever, what they say is
equipment and cameras and lenses. And
that's right. What they say is we believe that everyone is uniquely beautiful, that everybody is a somebody, that everyone counts, that everyone has a story to tell. We believe in we and in family. And they go on, and we believe that we can make every day a masterpiece. Who do you want to do your photos? I mean, it's like the no-brainer. Anybody that wants to be feeling great about their photograph goes to Kim Ju. And Kim Ju charges as much as they want. Nobody bitches about the price. Everybody keeps going back to them, and they're immensely successful because they express what they believe. Let's just talk about a slightly bigger company that most people are familiar with. These guys. The most successful product launch in the history of the world happened just a couple months ago. It was called the iPad. And they sold 3 million units in 3 days. 3 million units. That's $2 billion that were sold in 3 days. And if you go to the website, and I encourage everybody on this call to go to the website and click on the video that sold 3 million units of $2 billion worth of iPads. It starts out with 2 words, we believe. Those are the 2 words that begin the iPad video. We believe that technology is at its best when it's invisible. And it goes on to express the belief of Steve Jobs, which is to challenge the status quo and to think differently. And because they do that, they have recruited a group of people who are so loyal that they will only buy Macs, they never need a discount, they pay whatever it takes, and they've got to have the latest, greatest, to the point where now Apple has passed ExxonMobil in net worth market cap as a technology company. And the people in Wall Street are, John, I find this hilarious, the people in Wall Street believe that Apple is doing as well as it is because they make great products. They're so wrong. The reason Apple is doing so phenomenally well, let me just finish the thought.
Most lawyers believe that Apple is doing as well as it's doing because they make great products. They don't. Most lawyers don't have any understanding of why Apple is doing as well as it's doing. And I want to be clear because, you know, people on this call have small law firms. They want to do their first $1 million. They want to do their second $1 million of revenue. And they hear billions of dollars in sales, and they think, oh, this has nothing to do with me. It's exactly to do with you.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for clarifying that. Here's why Apple is so immensely successful.
We call it Arjanifying now.
Okay. Excellent. And here's why it has everything to do with everybody on this call. You can do what Apple did. Apple simply expressed what they believe. And because they express what they believe, they attract people who feel the same way, who then become ideal, loyal clients just like me. I'm talking to you guys on a Mac right now, and I use an iPhone. And if somebody walked up to me and said, I'll give you $10,000 to switch from your iPhone, I would say no. Now, don't get me wrong. I have a price. If somebody said $100 grand, I'd probably switch. But you know what's funny? I'd feel bad about it because I'm loyal to the people that told me what they believe. And everybody on this call can do that same thing. You find out what your why is, and you express to the marketplace why you exist and why the marketplace should care. And in so doing, you will attract the people who feel the same way that you do, and naturally that will grow ideal, loyal clients, which makes for a fantastic practice. Let me give you another example. There's Dr. Gary Sanchez, who one of the founders of 4D, and notice how what a normal, and I jumped from a couple of different, from photography to lawyers to Apple, computers to dental, because I want to point out to everybody, there's a real point behind this. It's always the same. It's about expressing what you believe and attracting people who feel the same way. And if you do that, you can be immensely successful with your practice. Listen to what Gary did as opposed to what all dentists do. Hi, at our dental office, we do veneers, we do porcelains, we create beautiful smiles. We have 35 years of experience, the most latest, greatest technology, a friendly staff, all that stuff, which is a bunch of noise talking about features and benefits. Listen to the difference when you talk about what you actually stand for.
At Sanchez Dental Associates, we believe that life is better with great teeth. We also know that there are so many people that are living below their potential. They are living a life of quiet desperation because of their teeth. They're embarrassed or they're in pain. They don't like to smile. They don't like to be social. They really aren't living. This usually happens because of fear, and it doesn't have to be that way. So our vision is to give these people their lives back. The way we do this is by providing a safe, pain-free experience that alleviates their stress and allows them to get the smile they've always wanted so they can be who they were meant to be. And that's what we do. I'm Dr. Gary Sanchez. If this sounds like your story, then give us a call at 26.
Now here's the results. Imagine that you're a person that has been that way, afraid to go to the dentist. You hear that. You instantly say, oh my gosh, that's what I've been looking for. That's who I'm going to. And for the past 25 consecutive months, so we're not talking about 60 days, we're not even talking about a year, 25 consecutive months, Sanchez Dental Associates has averaged between 35 and 45 new patients per month, every single month without exception. When they started before 4D, they were doing 8 to 12 patients a month. Average value of a patient, $9,800. So do the math between what it meant to go from about 10 to about 40 per month times $9,800. That's what it was worth to the Sanchez brothers, Gary and Greg, to express what they believed into the marketplace. Unbelievable, and anybody on this call can do the exact same thing. So if this were your website, on your website, you have to express what you believe. Why does your business exist? Why should the world care? And we show you how to do that, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it and show some examples very, very quickly. That's what is critical. That's what all 4D and Arjan participants are doing on their websites, totally different than what the overwhelming majority, the other 1.2,990,000 or whatever it is, lawyers out there are doing.
It's like taking candy from a baby when you do this the right way.
It is. Thank you for saying it that way. It really is. It is an absolute game changer for anybody who understands this. Second thing is drive. You got to drive visitors to your website, and I'm very, very quickly going to go through this because there are basically 4 ways. There's offline advertising, which means you put out ads in newspapers and flyers and do mailers, etc. There's online advertising when you put ads on the internet. And the problem with these two, the first two, offline and online, is that they are a pay-to-play environment in which the minute you stop paying, you are instantly disappear and you have no more benefit to be gained. So while you're paying, okay, great. The minute you stop paying, the residual benefit is dead. It stops immediately. The ads stop running. Let's go now to referrals. It used to be referrals were so super important in a legal practice, and don't get me wrong, they still are. However, what does anybody do the minute they get a referral? They go and they Google the person, which means that even when they're referred, they still end up on that person's website, on that attorney's website, to check them out. If at that point the experience is not engineered to create that, what we just talked about right here in the slide before, then it doesn't really matter that they were referred because they're not going to get the kind of result that they want. They're not going to create the experience where the potential client gets that attorney, understands their belief system, and chooses them. And lastly, you have search engine optimization. Now, there's a lot of myths about search engine optimization, so let me just very, very quickly debunk the overwhelming majority of them. At the end of the day, here's what Google wants. Provide value to Google's users. It's a popularity contest. Google judges your website based on how much value do you provide to the users, and the 2 primary testing mechanisms are how often do people come back to your website and how long do they stay when they are there. And if they come back often and stay for a long time, Google says, wow, you must be providing a lot of value, therefore we're going to rank you really, really high. Now let's take a look at what that can potentially mean in terms of ranking really high. Here's a lawyer, criminal lawyer in Miami. It would take to get these things, criminal lawyers in Miami, Florida, #1 ranking in Google, to match this volume of traffic today, you would have to spend almost $54,000 per month. That is the value of the search engine optimization that this person has been able to create with their site. Now, let's take a look at some of what we can do.
What this means is that if I wanted to buy my way into this ranking as criminal defense lawyer with pay-per-click advertising, I would need a budget of $54,000 a month, and then Google would essentially sell me this spot in the ranking.
They tell you the spot right next to them, right at the top.
Right. Or I can do it the intelligent way, which is the way that you're going to teach us, the way that you do it, and I can essentially get there for, for the cost of your services, which is, significantly lower than $54,000 per month.
Correct. And it does take, don't get me wrong, it does take time. It does depend a little bit on how competitive is the marketplace. The bottom line, though, is there's a right way to do this, and there's everything else. And Google has made it pretty clear. There's the right way, and there's the rest. And unfortunately, most people, A, don't know what the right way is, and even if they do, they can't do it because they either don't have the tools, don't have the staff, or happen to be quite busy running a law firm, which is what you're supposed to do. All right, so let's just take a look. So here's an example of what, if you look at the middle tier here with Google, you see all those green arrows going up. What that means is those are ranking changes. So on the first one, it was up at Attorney Gresham was up by 1 place. Attorney Gresham, Oregon.
This is, by the way, in the testimonial videos that Ridgely played, the woman with the blonde hair, this is her website. These are the analytics.
That's exactly right.
Website.
For 1 month. And by the way, all the things that we're about to show you have happened in the last 60 days. I'm not pulling out something from last year. This is all 100% current. So when you look at that sea of green arrows, what that means is that's how the traffic continues to, that's how her site continues to rank higher and higher month over month, to the point where she now has Divorce Attorney Gresham, Oregon, #1 spot on Google. Gresham Attorney, #4. Gresham Divorce Attorney, #1. Gresham Divorce, #2. And if we go back to the slide before, and you see what #1 rankings are worth in terms of what you'd have to pay to get them, then you can kind of get a sense of how valuable it is to be climbing up the ranks like Stephanie Berry is right now in Gresham, Oregon. That's what you can organize when you do this right.
Originally, let me just make sure everyone's real clear about this. Stephanie's last name is not Gresham. This is not like some deal where you put, there are a lot of people out there who can get you first page ranking in Google by picking words that no one's looking for. Gresham is the city where her practice is. You've got to kind of figure that if I'm looking for a divorce lawyer in Gresham, Oregon, Attorney Gresham is going to be something that's going to probably be part of my search. You just got to be careful about. There's a lot of people out there who they'll get you first ranking in Google for some word or some term that no one cares about. Just want to be clear. Exactly right. It's not Stephanie Gresham. It's Stephanie Berry in Gresham, Oregon. This is amazing.
Yeah, there's 5 #1 spots. I mean, she's completely crushing the marketplace. And by the way, Berry at her law practice. Okay, so this is my funny slide. I really love this slide. What happened is last year, Google put out an algorithm change called Panda. And it was devastating. There was blood on the streets of search engine optimization. Entire companies went down overnight because Google basically said, we're no longer going to allow anybody to game our system. We're going to aggressively go after anybody who tries to work it and not actually provide value to our users. They did that last year. Well, just a few weeks ago, they came out with Penguin. And Penguin was as aggressive and as obnoxious in terms of what Google said was going to work going forward in terms of the way that we make the decision of how you rank. And at that point, by the way, we were not so ready last year. We were very much ready this year. And what ends up happening is because we're ready, all of our clients don't suffer as a result of these algorithm changes. In fact, they end up going up. Here's another example of what a great SEO can be worth. Here's a guy in South Florida, JoffeLaw.com, $66,000 a month to buy this traffic. Now, so I know actually one of our other members, Craig Thompson, was actually on the line a little while ago. I saw him come on. I'm not sure if he's still on or not. If you were to add up this center column right here for 16 keywords that we were looking to rank in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Craig does IP law, we were up 165 total places in Google. Now, if we look back again at what that means, to be up 165 places for 16 different keywords in a month, now I'm not saying we can sustain that every single month. but that is what you want in order to get this kind of value. This is a great experience. I'm so glad that you were able to join us, Craig. Thanks so much for all of your participation.
Yeah, Craig wanted to join in as a testimonial, but just in the interest of time, I had to cut it off. We actually had more than just the three we heard from who were lined up to give testimony here.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate that. Delivering. Okay, now so we talked about earlier, how do people find you? Well, they find you through SEO. They find you because of this. Once they find you, what happens online? That's when we want to deliver them into the database. So that first firm that was doing $54,000 a month, this is their website. Why we called it a law opportunity.
This is not a 4D client. This is not a how to manage a small law firm client. Just want to be real clear about that.
This is a disaster is what this is. I land on this website and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Why is that so important? Because if someone lands on your website, the experience that is created by that website should be driven by what you want them to do. That's called a guided user experience. A guided user experience is the user lands on your website and you guide their experience. In this particular case, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. It gives me a headache just to look at it. There are so many different options. My eyes don't even know where to go. I am completely lost. So even though his SEO value is tremendous, his deliver component of actually dropping somebody into the database is horrendous. As was the second one, $66,000 of value or whatever, 60-some thousand, same exact situation. So busy, so crazy, a bunch of words, I just don't even know where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to do. What we want to create is the experience. If we remember what Apple, we went to the Apple website, what was there? Watch the video about the iPad. 3 million sales later, that's what's still there. Watch the video about the iPad. In other words, they only give you one option. You look at it, you're going to watch the video or go away, and that's all they want to create. So here's an example of a wellness center that we designed a few months ago. Here, there's only two options. You either watch the video or you click out and go away. And that is what we want to create. We're in charge, not the people that land on the website. You, the lawyer on this line, you should be in charge of the user experience when someone lands on your site. So we had Heather on earlier, and this is her site. There's the video. The video starts playing automatically, which means you have two options. Watch the video or go away. There are only two. If you watch the video and then you relate to Heather, you're going to pick up the phone and call her, which is why she is now buried. So let me just show you the difference about what most lawyers talk about, which we all know. Hi, we do this, we do that. We have all this experience, all these diplomas, all these years of doing cases, blah, 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 features and benefits, versus talking about what you believe.
Are you considering divorce but are afraid that you will lose custody of your children? Are you worried that if you get divorced, you will not be able to survive financially? Are you concerned that your spouse will get half of your inheritance or your retirement or even your assets? I'm Heather Quick, and through our law office, we help clients with these exact issues. As a child of divorced parents myself, I understand how difficult a divorce can be. For me, building a trusting relationship with you is so important to working together and improving our success in your case. Our goal is to preserve healthy family relationships, guard the children's best interests, and reach amicable settlements for my clients. As a former prosecutor, I'm also prepared to fight for your rights in court when necessary and will work with you to resolve your legal issues as effectively and efficiently as possible. Maybe you're wondering if you will be eligible for alimony or have to pay it. Maybe you're concerned that you will have limited visitation with your children and that you'll miss special moments in their life. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, confused, and uncertain about your future and what to do next. Whatever concerns or questions you have regarding divorce, I want to help. As a thank you for stopping by this page, we will send you our video series, What Everybody Ought to Know About Divorce, absolutely free. Just enter your name and email in the boxes on this page, and the video series will be sent to you at no charge whatsoever. At the Law Office of Heather Quick, we help you resolve your legal issues so that you can move on with your life. enter your name and email, and look for our free video series. Thank you for watching.
Ridley, there's a few things I want to just ask you to clarify. One is, obviously, we're playing a video over your internet connection, over a webcast. That's why it looks so choppy, everyone. When you go to this website normally, it plays very smooth and easy.
Very easy. Jacksonville Beach Lawyer. Go check it out.
Yeah.
It will blow you away.
Yeah, and second, I just want to, so everyone knows that the reason the video is so choppy is because it's a video, it's a connection on a connection on a connection because of a webinar. The second thing I want everyone to be clear about is you heard Heather say herself, she didn't write that script. She got interviewed, she did a little questionnaire, and then the 4D legal team wrote the script. She edited it, you know, she did a little editing, she made it, you know, put it in her own words, but they did the heavy lifting for her. You know, doing this thing with a script versus without a script, it's the difference between, I don't know, it makes life so much easier.
And as John Barrett mentioned earlier, and what she was doing was reading straight into a teleprompter. She didn't even have to memorize the script. So our whole idea is we want to make this painless because you are a busy attorney. And we'd like to make you a busier attorney with great, loyal clients. That's the objective here, just to show the difference between a website that talks about what they do and how many credentials they have versus something that talks about what they stand for. Building trusting relationships is what she believes in, and if you were a person who was scared and contemplating divorce or whatever, wouldn't you want to be going with a person who builds trusting relationships? I know I would. All right, moving on in the interest of time here. Last thing we talked about, D4, so that was D3, delivering prospects into your database, is to continue to stay in contact with them until they're ready to make a decision. The number one problem for small business is the failure to follow up, and no matter how many business cards you hand out at chamber meetings, at Rotary meetings, at yacht club meetings, at the tennis club, at wherever you go to do prospecting, at the end of the day, failure to follow up is a huge problem, but what if you did it in an automatic environment? When Panda changed to Penguin, we realized we had to be a little careful with how aggressive we put out drip videos, in other words, follow-up videos, because we couldn't over-optimize a site. So within literally a matter of weeks, we instantly changed over and said, you know what, we're just going to spread them out so that they look a little bit more like a newsletter. And so now when someone goes to a website like Heather's, in this case like Juergen and Yarbrough, and they sign up for the series, we just space those out over a little bit more time so they come across for Google as if they were in a newsletter format. No over-optimization, constant growing body of content which signals to Google we're giving you a great user experience. That's what Google wants, to rank people correctly. So we're making a slight change in the program to make sure that we're doing what Google wants. And let's just take a look at one of these. You'll notice that because...
Hang on one second. Before we get to that, I just want to make sure, because, you know, at the end of this whole thing, we've got a pilot program that you're going to be introducing. We're only going to open it up for 12 spots. 12 spots
Correct.
only. And I know that one of them already sold this morning, so we have 11 spots. Just explain, because we got about 70 people on the call. That means, you know, obviously there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to be able to get in on this pilot program. Tell them how to apply what you just said about this whole Penguin, Panda, spacing out videos, just because, you know, I don't want everyone to get off the call and not know what to do with this on their own in case they can't get into the pilot program. How can they apply that themselves?
Great point. Thank you. Very good point, because I definitely don't want anybody to leave here without having that information. At the end of the day, Google says, give your user great value and we will rank you well. So imagine yourself. You have two options. You're looking at a newsletter. Option number one is to read a whole bunch of text. Option number two is to go click and watch a video. 99% of the world would rather go click and watch the video than read a bunch of text. So if you create a follow-up campaign that is video-based, and you periodically, let's say it's once a month, send out a newsletter that is a video, then what's happening is when people click to watch that video, it signals to Google that they're hanging out on your website for a long time, which means you must be providing fantastic value, and we're going to give you a great ranking. And if you do that every month, that means that every month a whole bunch of people are watching your videos, and by watching your videos, they're showing that A, they're coming back to the site on a frequent basis, and B, they're staying on the site for a long time, which is exactly what Google wants to give you a great ranking. That's huge. Help?
That's huge.
It's huge. So let's just take a look at what one of these, how simple it can be to do these, and how, again, we do this for you. Notice that in this particular case, Jürgen and Yarbrough show up right here and at the end. In other words, the entire thing is done by us. They don't have to do anything except say, yes, I want that. And then this is what you get.
Make no mistake, a DUI can be very expensive. The amount of money that you will have to pay in fines and costs for a DUI varies from state to state and depends on many factors. Some of these include the number of prior DUIs that you have, what your blood alcohol level was at the time of your arrest, and whether other charges accompany the DUI charge. For a first-time DUI, you can expect to pay up to $1,500 in fines and court costs. For a second DUI conviction, expect to pay up to $2,000 or even more. For a third and fourth DUI conviction, your costs may be as high as $5,000, depending on what your blood alcohol level was at the time of your arrest. Other costs to consider include DUI school and drug and alcohol evaluations and treatment. These fees vary from state to state, and even among providers offering the same services. In some states, DUI convictions require that you perform community service. You may also be required to install an ignition interlock device on your vehicle. Installation costs, monthly fees, and required time to have an ignition interlock system vary depending on your city, your blood alcohol level at the time of the arrest, and whether this is a first or subsequent DUI conviction. Keep in mind that these figures do not take into account such things as probation charges, insurance premiums, and lost wages. When you factor in these and other hidden costs of a DUI, the true cost may be 3 or 4 times higher or even more. In order for us to minimize the overall cost to you, we must sit down together and talk about your specific situation. Call the number on this page or email us today for more information. Thank you for watching.
Now notice what's really cool about this, I'm going to go back just a second, is the entire banner is all about Jürgen and Yarbrough. So it looks like Jürgen and Yarbrough put together this entire thing to become the Atlanta DUI lawyer. Down here, we then place a video, like the one that we were just watching, into the newsletter, and every month that goes out, it reminds everybody about Jürgen and Yarbrough. So whenever there's a DUI issue, who are they thinking about? Where are they going to go? They're going to go to the people that have been providing them all that value, and not only that, when they watch the video, they send a signal to Google that says, hey, these guys, Jürgen and Yarbrough, they provide great value, you need to give us a great ranking. And that's exactly what we do using drip videos. Now, the reason why we use videos is it lets them get to know you as a person because you're represented in the banner. It educates them about your services, what you do, because that's what the videos do, and it turns you into the expert that they're going to call when they need that legal expert. Very, very important. So, again, just summing up, because I know we're running a little bit over and I want to value everybody's time. The 4D marketing program basically is D1, define your practice. What is your why? Why do you exist? Why should anybody care? What do you believe and how are you expressing that to the marketplace? D2, drive. Driving traffic to your site through best practices, effective SEO. D3, delivering your ideal client. That means making sure that when someone lands on your website, they opt in so that you can continue to reach out and touch them on a regular basis through your marketing efforts using D4, a drip campaign, which is a newsletter follow-up that is video-based. By the way, if anybody has any questions, please use the chat box and type those in. We'll be more than happy to take those in just a second. So understanding this is the entire program. You have heard you've seen examples of the websites, you've seen examples of the DRIP campaign, you've seen the kind of rankings that we're currently getting for our clients, and you've been able to have a chance to hear from some of our clients who are having fantastic results so far. This is what we have put together. We're taking 12 more clients at this point. And sorry, 11. We already had one that found a way to contact us earlier today. If you are a member of the Arjan coaching program, because we already know that you are a great client for us, you actually catch even bigger of a break at $19.97 plus $8.97 a month. If you are a non-member of the program, it's $29.97 plus $9.97 a month, and this is only during the pilot program. We expect to roll this out to the marketplace in general at about $8,000 a month and $8,000 down and $2,000 a month. We're finishing up tweaking certain pieces to make sure that we've got it exactly as we want to, although we're crystal clear that we are light years ahead of the competition and showing the results all over the place. If you would like to be a part of our special pilot program, please go to 4dlegal.com and sign up. Again, the way this is going to work is we're going to take 11 more people now and then create a waiting list. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get to you. However, as mentioned earlier by some of the other people, when we take you on as a client, at that point we view you as a marketing partner. That means we're writing the video scripts, we're helping you shoot the videos, we're making sure that the drip campaigns are correct. We already have all kinds of statistical information and demographics on what's working. And so if you want to join us now, please do not hesitate and go sign yourself up now. And then if you can't make it in the original group, we will obviously create a waiting list going forward. As soon as we get through this next batch, we will then have built the infrastructure that will support everything else. If you need to speak with us or want to get some further clarifications or some questions answered, please give us a call on our toll-free number or send an email at support@4dlegal.com. Again, if you have any questions at all, type them into the chat. We'll be more than happy to answer those questions. Again, we're going to take 11 more people for our pilot program. You've seen the kind of results that we have. And Arjan, did I leave anything out? I was trying to kind of finish quickly here because I know we're running a little bit late.
Yeah, we left a few things out. One thing we left out is the money-back guarantee.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We are so super confident about what we're doing that we have a 30-day unconditional, no hassle, no aggravation, no pain in the butt money-back guarantee. You join us, you start working with us, you see the kind of work we do, you experience it, you get to know us, etc. If for whatever reason or no reason whatsoever, just because you wake up in the morning, it doesn't matter, you decide within the first 30 days that we did not way over-deliver on what you expected, then you just call us up and we just issue a 100% unconditional money-back guarantee, no questions asked.
And the second thing is that we should let them know about exactly how these videos get shot, because you said you help them shoot the videos, but I want everyone to understand you actually shoot the videos together in person. This is not like we just say, here's a camera, go shoot the video on your own. Explain how that works, and that's part of the bonuses, because we're throwing in a lot of bonuses here. Why don't you cover the bonus about how they get to come to our next live meeting in San Francisco and all that good stuff? That'll be the weekend of August 17th, by the way, San Francisco.
Yep, I will do it. Okay, perfect. Yes, we know that a lot of people are a little bit intimidated by the camera, and so if for whatever reason you have not done camera work, which is pretty much everybody, and would like to be working with professionals, then on August 17th at the next Arjan Coaching Quarterly meeting, we will invite you to come up there and have your video shot on the spot right there. If you can't make the meeting, we can coach you long distance on how to do it, but what's been fantastic with all of our pilot participants so far is we have helped them by shooting the videos ourselves. They've gotten fantastic results. You saw a couple of these videos. Hey, maybe Arjan, you could share the experience that you had yesterday in showing somebody one of our websites versus what happened when they asked you about theirs.
Yeah, go back to the previous slide though, because I want to just talk about the price for a second, because I want everyone to understand that the retail price, if you shop around for something like this, and I have shopped around for something like this, $8,000 to get it built and $2,000 a month to keep it going is actually a very reasonable, not the cheapest, but certainly not the most expensive out there. I was talking with, I was doing a, Microsoft has me out on the road doing this national CLE speaking tour, and I'm coming at you today from Knoxville, Tennessee, but 2 days ago I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and we were talking about website strategies and marketing and how to manage a small law firm and all that good stuff. And during the break, one of the lawyers came up and said, hey, so I just got my new website built. Really? How much did you pay for it? It says something around $10,000. Let me see your site. So he tells me this site. I pulled it up on my computer. It went up on the big screen behind me so everyone could see it. And he could tell from the look on my face that I wasn't real happy. And he said, well, what's wrong with it? What's the matter? I went to some guys who are supposed to be very reputable. And I said, do they do law firm strategy? No, but they're great technicians. They're great at building websites. They've won all kinds of design awards. I said, but they don't know law firm marketing strategy, right? He goes, right. He said, how do you know? And then I pulled up Dana Palmer's website. Dana is one of the other pilot program participants. And I pulled up his site just because I happen to remember it off the top of my head, which is softdivorce.com. And within 30 seconds, this guy was like, oh, shit. And even though he had just finished paying over or under, right around $10,000 for his website to be built, he immediately wanted to work with 4D Legal. And to his credit, this guy recognized that he wasn't gonna not do it the right way just because he had already just finished doing it the wrong way, and that's to his great credit.
Totally agree.
I just want everyone to understand that $8,000 and $2,000 a month, that's a great price right there by itself. And the reason why 4D is doing this basically giveaway price of $2,000 set up and less than $1,000 a month to get it set up for our members is because our members are great and they come prepared and they come trained and they because they're in the coaching program, they understand law firm marketing, they understand business strategy. Ridgely, you want to just explain why you're doing this kind of a ridiculous discount? I mean, I want people to understand.
Yeah, well, there's two reasons. Two reasons, and one of them is altruistic and the other one is entirely not. The altruistic one is we, too, are a small business, and I happen to believe, our whole company believes, that small business is the only thing that is going to make the economy turn around, change America, get us back to where we need to be, and therefore we want to help small businesses, and small law firms are small businesses. If they're successful, they hire people. If the people go into a great working environment because they have great, ideal, loyal clients, then all of a sudden there are happy people that are out there working, and we're getting our country back on track, and we are dead serious about it. We absolutely want to help small businesses. The other reason is...
What's the altruistic reason? Because that's self-interested to me.
Well, it's somewhat altruistic. Let's call it that way. It is self-interested from the perspective that that's what we believe in. At least it's coming from a cause marketing kind of perspective.
Well, I'm saying, I mean, it helps the economy, which helps everyone. That's why I was. Anyway, I'm getting political with you. Go ahead.
No worries. On the other side, we also understand that when someone comes in and they are highly motivated, highly entrepreneurial, and willing to roll up their sleeves a little bit, help us out with the scripting, the writing, and all those things. In other words, people who are in your program, Arjan, it makes our life a lot better. And oh, by the way, since we picture a world in which successful businesses attract ideal, loyal clients, what we want for our business is ideal, loyal clients. And you are able to provide those kinds of ideal, loyal clients, as we heard from already today, and therefore we said, you know what, we can do something really, really special here, especially during the pilot phases of our program, and then we're going to roll it out to the rank and file, everybody else that's out there after this next round.
And let's also just be very, cards on the table here, everyone. The first time we did this a couple months ago and we opened it up as a pilot program, there was a lot of stuff that we were figuring out as we were building it, and we were very honest and very upfront and very, very open with the original pilot program group that they were helping us build the bicycle while we were riding it. That's another reason why there was such a huge discount, because they understood that there's a pilot program means you help us work out the kinks. The benefit is you save what is that? $6,000. You save $6,000 up front by helping us iron out some of the wrinkles. Now if you're the kind of person who's buttoned up really, really tight, and if you're the kind of person who has very little tolerance and is not flexible, respectfully, I would encourage you that the pilot program might not be the right thing for you to do, and you probably should wait and spend the extra $6,000. Wait for it to be completely wrinkle-free. But if you're the kind of entrepreneurial, ambitious lawyer like the people in my coaching program who are building million-dollar solo law firms, and you understand that you got to roll with the punches, and when you work with good people who are equally committed to making you happy and back it all up with a money-back guarantee, this is one of the rewards for being our kind of lawyer. You get to save $6,000 on the front end, and can't do the math, but a lot of money every month.
You know what? Lawyers don't have to do math, but they do have to attract ideal, loyal clients because those guys are the ones that pay their bills without complaining, and that makes a big difference.
Right, but I just want to be clear that the pilot program, respectfully, it's not for everyone. And if you're the kind of person, and look, I'm not judging, but if you're the kind of person who does not have tolerance and is not flexible, being an early adopter pilot program participant may not be the right choice for you, and no one will think less of you. If you can be cool about things, be flexible with things, be collaborative, and help out, and help out with constructive criticism, not just whining and complaining, jump on it. Save yourself $6,000 or $5,000 if you're not currently a member of our coaching program. Hey, what if there's a person who's not a member and a person who is a member already of my coaching program? Who's going to get in? Who's not going to get in? How's this going to work?
Well, realistically, I don't want to deviate from what we talked about. Hopefully, if someone's in your coaching program already, they reacted fairly quickly because they've been hearing from their colleagues that are in the program how phenomenal the results have been. So we're going to take, the first 11 people that come in, and then we will aggressively work on the waiting list after that, just out of integrity, since that's what we stated.
If someone's on the waiting list, can we at least put my members ahead on the waiting list?
You're just always pushing to help your members out. I'll do my very best to make sure we get to them as quickly as possible. How about that?
All right.
All right,
okay.
Question here. One question came up, how long is the monthly fee in effect? And it's a very good question, so let me answer it very directly. As long as you want it to be. In other words, the monthly fee is designed for two things, and one of them is a long-term investment that you want to make for sure, and it can be canceled at any time, and the other's not. It's designed to do to keep you top of mind of all prospects that are out there through the fact that they see that newsletter going out every single month with a brand new video from you, and B, from an SEO perspective, because the way that we can do SEO for your site is by providing value to the users, which is what Google wants. So when you have a growing body of content, as evidenced by a newsletter that keeps adding to the size of the number of pages that are on your website every single month, along with the visitors that come to your website to watch those, then that's what gives Google the warm and fuzzies to rank you really, really well. So the program starts out for 1 year, but then after that it is cancelable at any time, although we would certainly hope that with the kind of results that we want you to get and will work very hard for you to get, that we'll be in this for years to come.
Right,
so thank you for the question. I appreciate that.
Hold on a second.
Hope that clarified that.
Ridgely, the $8.90,
yep.
the monthly fee is in effect for the 1 year, unless they cancel within the first 30 days, in which case all bets are off. Now, what if they're 6 months? What if they're like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months into it? Can they at that point still cancel and not keep paying the $8.97 monthly fee?
Well, here's what we tell people. We want you to make a commitment for a year because we want you to see the kind of SEO results that can bring. However, obviously, we're not in the business of suing anybody, so let's just be very transparent about it. We certainly have not had anybody drop out of the program. We hope we don't want to have anybody drop out of the program. We're going to work very hard to have no one drop out of the program, especially before a year. But from a mental commitment perspective, not a legal obligation. From a mental commitment, we ask for a year. From what happens if you stop paying the bill, well, you're just going to stop getting any SEO to your site, which is not going to help you.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, we want people to be committed. It's like, hey, man, we want to help. We want to make a difference.
Right.
So,
okay.
Anything else you think that we need to cover?
Yeah, if they don't want to wait until August, you know, because the live quarterly meeting, which, by the way, if you're not currently a member of the coaching program, to come to the live quarterly meeting, to get 2 tickets to come to the live quarterly meeting, it's $5,000. So you're getting a $5,000, you know, if you're not already a member of the coaching program, you're getting a $5,000 bonus when you do this with 4D Legal. And I'm doing this because I want to support the cause, because I think this is a great thing for everyone to do. So you get that as a free bonus. Now, if you don't want to wait until August comes around to shoot your videos, originally you'll still coach them and show them how to shoot their videos, and then they can just get there in August and shoot even better videos, right?
Exactly right. And we view that as an ongoing process, by the way. Show up at the quarterly event, and when we have our cameras there, we're happy to reshoot the video for someone who thinks, you know what, I think I can do it better. Because obviously you're going to get better over time. We have a number of people in our program right now who shot all their own videos. I mean, a whole bunch of them. They liked doing it. They had camera equipment at home, and they were very comfortable that way. And so they did that. We're happy to coach you, to show you all kinds of tips and tricks and strategies as to how to make them better. So obviously we would love to welcome you to the quarterly event where we have a chance to do all of that for you, where we use a teleprompter and all that kind of stuff. So either way is completely fine. The objective is to get the site up, working, and bringing you ideal loyal clients.
Yeah, and you figure, go back to the previous slide, please. You figure the average client is worth, if your average client is worth even a couple $1,000s, I mean, if your average client is worth even only $2,000, geez, I mean, you only need to get 1 new client out of this for it to break even, and 1 new client a month to make a profit. It's sort of the ultimate, Dan Kennedy has a term that I love called selling money at a discount, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to sell a $100 bill as long as you only ask people to pay you $50 for it. You can sell $100 bills all day long. The way I look at it is, geez, I mean, you're selling a $8,000 service for only $2,000, and all you need is 1 or 2 new clients, 1 new client, and your upfront cost is covered, and then 1 new client per month, and you're making a profit, and and it's got a lot of carryover benefits to the other marketing that you're going to be doing also. So to me, this is sort of like, I hate saying the word because it's a cliche, but it's kind of a no-brainer. I mean,
well, I would say that John Barrett certainly feels that way, from 11 non-qualified leads in March to 27 qualified leads for the exact same period of time in May.
Yeah, he already agreed that that's probably going to be worth $100,000 in new business to him, and that's only so far. And
that's
by
right.
the way,
that's just so far in May.
I want to also be clear to everyone to understand the nature of our relationship. Again, like I said, I don't own an interest in 4D Legal. I get a very small referral fee. Every penny of referral fee that I've earned from introducing 4D Legal to our members, I have reinvested back into paying 4D Legal to provide these services for me. And that's how much I believe in it. I love the results that the lawyers are getting because it makes them want my services even more, because my business is howtomanageasmalllawfirm.com, and if you can double your new client, if you can double the number of new clients coming in your front door, then you really are going to appreciate my services of teaching you how to convert those prospective clients into paying clients, and teach you how to manage your law firm and hire, train, manage, supervise staff and make a profit on your staff, which, by the way, is the topic of the meeting that we've got coming up in San Francisco. It's all about how to hire, train, manage, supervise, and make a profit on your legal staff. If you're not making a profit on your legal staff, something's wrong. You should be. So I love it when people take advantage of things like this and experience a lot of growth in their law firm, because it just makes me more relevant and even more valuable to them. So that's my non-altruistic motivation for introducing lawyers to this program. Makes me even more needed. John Miller is asking a question. So there will not be a gathering before the August meeting, right? Correct, John. Our next live quarterly meeting is August. What happened was in Dallas we had a little mutiny, and everyone voted to push the July meeting to August. So we pushed it to August. And no, you do not need to have an existing website to enroll. If you already have a website, you can. Well, John, Ridgely, do you want to just address that issue about do you need an existing website?
Well, yeah, sure. And let me also address John's issue, because even though there won't be another meeting until August, we can certainly work with John to make sure that his website is tweaked, fixed, adjusted. We can help with shooting videos, and then when we do get together, we can reshoot the video. I mean, I think we've shot your videos 3 times already, haven't we, John?
We shot my videos twice together, and then I shot them on my own again 2 weeks ago, because every time I did them, I just got better and more comfortable with it. There's another question. Still recommended to have a monthly printed newsletter, and the answer is yes. You should always have a monthly printed newsletter. This is not a substitute for having a monthly printed newsletter.
Correct. That is correct. However, a monthly, because they serve different purposes. I mean, it's all about marketing and recognition. So the answer to the other question, do you need to have an existing website? No, we can help you with that, even if you're starting from scratch. And to the answer to the question, do you still recommend to have a monthly printed newsletter? Yes, you bet. That definitely helps. Our video newsletter is designed to do 2 things. Well, as we talked about, educate people about you, create reciprocity, and also for SEO. It is very, very big for SEO to show Google a growing body of content. If you have a printed monthly newsletter, that only helps your SEO if it is going on your website once it's sent to clients, just to let everybody know that.
Well, you should still have a monthly printed newsletter, just because, let's face it, there are some people who, you open the mail and it makes a different impression.
Yep.
Kind of like saying, if I put salt on my dinner, should I also put pepper? Well, it depends. Do you like salt and pepper? Then the answer is yes. Some clients like online, some clients like paper, and some clients like both.
That's right. Exactly right. And we're looking forward. I mean, it sounds funny. Somebody enrolls today. We start working with you. We start crafting the homepage video. We start crafting the drip campaigns. We start crafting all of those things. It will take time, and we're already in the middle of May right now. It'll be June, July. It'll be the beginning of August before you know it. So even though it sounds like it's a long ways away, it's really not. We'd obviously love to get your video up before then, but we understand that if it doesn't happen, that we shoot the video until the August event, then that's just fine too. We'll be doing all kinds of SEO to the site, preparing, doing lots of work, and at the end of the day, the whole idea is to build something that's going to last for the long term.
Right. All right, so if anyone has any other questions, please go ahead and type them into the box. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up. Ridgely Goldsboro, 4dlegal.com. This comes with a 100% money-back guarantee. That money-back guarantee is backed by me personally. I stand behind this. If you have a problem, you let me know, and I will make sure it's made right. I have some influence in this, this matter.
And let me just leave everybody, if I can. We'll just sort of wrap this up now. And first of all, thank you for your time. We are here to serve you. We believe there's a better way, and if you believe that too, we'd like to offer that better way to you to get ideal loyal clients into your practice. I just imagine for a second, to me, I love doing a little bit of future casting, and imagine that when you look at your schedule, all the boneheads are gone. There are no more boneheads on the schedule. There are only people there who are qualified, who appreciate you, who respect you, and who behave the way that great clients should behave. Pay their bills on time and refer other people to you. That's the objective of what we're trying to create. We will never be satisfied because our why is to find a better way. So as you saw with Panda and Penguin, we are always going to be working for you, and every time we find a better way, we will rapidly deploy it across our entire network of sites. So Arjan, I'd like to thank you for the time that you've given us as well. I know you're unbelievably busy. We look forward to continuing to work together with you, all of the team at 4D Legal. Any final words from you, and otherwise we'll wrap it up.
I think we covered it. I think this is great. I would highly recommend that everyone jump on this. I don't know how else to make it more clear. I endorse it.
Let me just leave that phone number there for anybody that needs it. Please do send us an email, give us a call. We're happy to take a look at your current website and talk to you about it, do a quick free market assessment for you. All you have to do is send us an email or give us a call. We'll get back to you, and we'll talk about how we can help you create that incredible practice. Arjan, thank you so much.
Wouldn't it be better for them to just go and grab a spot, and then if for whatever reason they don't want it, they can always release it to someone else who's on the waiting list? I mean, I don't want someone to call and then miss a spot.
No, that probably would be very smart, and it may have already happened. I don't really know. I can't see that information from here, so I'm focused on what we're doing at the moment. But sure, that would be very smart to do. There's no risk, obviously. And at the same time, we're happy to answer whatever questions to make somebody comfortable, because at the end of the day, we're in the business of serving you.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right, Arjan, thank you very much. Everybody else, thank you very much. We look forward to working with all of you who make the decision to pop over to 4dlegal.com and jump on the program with us. And if we put you on the waiting list, we'll do everything we can to get that up to speed as quickly as possible. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.